Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Behind the Voices with Derek Stephen Prince. And now, today's guest, the Greek god of voice acting, Mr. Michael Sorich!
Hey everybody! How many of you out there? 3, 4, hike!
Oh my gosh.
I went out to the hairstylist today, even with the restrictions, Steve, and I got this wonderful hairdo just for the fans today. I bring Ringo Starr's 80th birthday. That was just yesterday, so I want to give kind of a mop top feel to what I'm doing today, buddy. How are you,
right.
Mr. Prince?
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
You look great, Steve. You reminded me, your haircut reminds me, I got to buy a dozen eggs later.
Well, here we have Mr. Michael Sorich in the house, everybody. It is an honor. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day. I know we've all got stuff going on, but you know, the whole reason for me doing this, Mike, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you before, but I started these streams a while back. Have tried to have as many Digimon fans as I possibly could, because we have a lot of Digimon fans that are on here today. But in general, just for voice actors, you know, it's a way for us to keep in touch with our fan base. It's also a way for fans who can't go to, I mean, none of us can go to conventions right now. So it's, you know, it's like the next best thing, so to speak.
There you go.
You know?
Thanks.
So, yeah. So guys, for those of you who may not be as familiar with this man's huge body of work as I am.
A huge body. Do I just leave it at that? I got a fat gut. Is that what you're trying to say, Dave? Let me tell you something, Dave. Oh, Jesus, what happened? Buddha.
Some stuff that I wasn't even aware that you did.
There we go. That's better. That's much better. Hello there. How are you, wonderful fans? My name is Michael Sorich. Actually, in Digimon, I don't go from Agumon to Judomon, but I go from Elecmon to Judomon, so that's E to Z. It's not quite A to Z, but there you go.
Yes, so definitely Zudomon, Vikemon, Omnimon from the Digimon Tri-Series.
Elecmon.
Elecmon, yes. Did not know you were in Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is a great property to be a part of, as a Gwendol. And one of my favorite animes, actually. I don't know how much anime you ever get to watch, you know, with the huge amount of time that we have. But Forest of Piano. I really like that show. And Raphael, your role in that, which is awesome. He's also in the new God of War version. Played some additional voices in that, right?
Right, and also also directed, and also did NPC characters for, the remake 7, Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, absolutely. You directed.
I was lucky enough to direct on that. That was fun.
You directed me on that. That's the last time No, actually, no. We saw each other after that.
That was in December. Yeah.
That was in December, but so yeah, I guess that was the last time we saw each other.
Maybe.
Because we had turkey dinner before then.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
You know what? Everyone knows that I like turkey dinner. A beautiful little button, and it's a picture of a turkey. It's great. Here somewhere, I gotta find it.
Are they still? Do you? I don't know if you been keeping up. Are they still in business?
Who?
The restaurant.
Oh yeah, Talleyrand's still in business.
Yeah, they are.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's good.
That's the Talleyrand in Burbank for you fans that might want to experience a wonderful turkey dinner. The whole deal is that they roast whole turkey's fresh. It's not cut from a roll. So when you get a roast turkey sandwich there or an open-faced turkey sandwich, one of my favorite things when I was growing up, when I was a young man going to Woolworth at the counter there, was open-faced turkey sandwich.
All right.
Because you get stuffing with it.
Yeah.
And so they serve both at the Talleyrand in Burbank on Olive, near the Safari Inn, everyone.
Yes.
Where a lot of tourists land at the Safari Inn, because I guess it's pretty reasonable there. And also a lot of tour groups, touring musicians at the Safari.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Huge amount. I mean, I could go on and on and on for days as far as the number of roles that you had, and you're like one of those actors that is very eclectic, because it's like an Easter egg thing. You're watching a particular anime or something, and then you just happen to pop up, and then you're out, and then you pop up for something else, and you're out, and you pop up. I mean, all over the place, dude. But
thank you.
Yeah. No, and
it's been about a year.
Hang on a second.
It's been a lot here.
All right.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah, my minions were calling me.
Is it time for you to shave again, please? You're overkill, Steve. Please, enough with the shaving. Come on, you don't have a hair left. He doesn't. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Stephen is not for a haircut. He pays a finder's fee, just like me. I pay a finder's fee.
Yeah.
Where is that? Yeah, what happened? Oh my goodness.
If I'm remembering correctly, my memory, of course, is not always as good as it used to be. But if I am remembering correctly, I believe the first time that you and I met, sir, was when you guest directed on one of the Power Rangers shows.
Oh yeah. By that time, I'd already been doing it a while. I was lucky enough to be the night, or whatever you want to call it, the overfill director.
Right.
Wendy and I shared directing on Digimon when it first opened up, Wendy Lee and myself. Mm-hmm. And we also shared directing on the first 2 or 3 seasons of Power Rangers, actually directing the Power Rangers, because they would work during the day and then at night they would come in and do their ADR, which was very extensive.
Yeah.
And by ADR, I mean that they had to do their dialogue for them in the suits. So,
right.
So it was a wonderful. And then I also got to direct the ADR on Mass Rider and Big Bad Beetleborgs for a while, and never on my own show, never on VR Troopers, I don't think.
Yeah.
I did a lot of voices on VR Troopers, and I was also lucky enough to be Woody on camera. I was Caitlin's boss at the Underground Voice Daily, which was the paper that was part of the story, and got to work with Michael Bacon and with Brad Johnson, both wonderful guys.
Yeah.
And she was too. She was a sweetheart, Caitlin Brown.
Yeah. And one of my favorite experiences.
And Percy, I should mention Percy, Aaron Pruner. We had a great time together.
Yeah.
But that Jeb the dog was a real dog. Let me tell you, that dog would fart, and it was just oh boy. This is the inside dope, guys.
Exactly. And one of my favorite experiences with you was when you directed Mongolia Nights.
Oh, that was a great show. Joe Achman as Prince Accentro.
Yes.
I hope I'm not outing you, Joe. I know Joe's. I know. Don't talk about it. But we had that was a great cast.
Yeah.
And you were Mondo.
Mondo. Yep.
So you were Mondo, and we had Dina Sherman as Gluco, and one of the, I think it was Tiffany Christun, played the female lead to you.
No, Bree.
Bree did.
Yeah.
Was Tiffany on it too? She was on it.
She may have been.
Yeah. And then I also, just between you and I was the voice of Tanaka, who was, he was always like people.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. I got to story edit that and direct it and voice on it. It was really a lot of fun. That was a fun show.
I know that a lot of your work, where you really, really shine. Not that you don't shine on everything that you do, but stuff where you really stand out in a great way is
shine. I get it.
is the humor that you're able to bring to stuff. I remember one of the biggest, controversies way back when in the day was when you directed the original Samurai X. Right? And you put your spin on it before it became Rurouni and Kenshin and Bang Zoom took over. But you directed that entire series the first time, and there's actually 2 different versions that are out that I know some people are able to get on DVD for your version.
Oh, you can still get it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the great things about you, Mike, is your sense of humor and what you're able to bring to a story. And I mean, how Michael Sorich became Michael Sorich to this day, as far as the voice actor, director, everything else. Where do you think you got your humor from? Like, where did have you always had that? Did you have it as a kid?
I think I always had it as a kid. I grew up in a family where my parents were always arguing with each other, and it made things very uncomfortable for anyone that was around them, in a social setting.
Yeah.
So I learned that when they would do that, I would be the icebreaker and say something funny, and everybody would kind of go, "Oh, look, Mike's being funny," and they'd be really relieved rather than dealing with, the second act of Virginia Woolf, which was my parents, tearing each other apart.
Right.
So I developed the whole aspect of myself of, in a sense, being, when I think of archetypes, I'm a mascot. I'm a mascot. I'm the kind of guy that say, yeah, you're doing great. Oh, it's going to be fine. Oh, don't worry about things. It'll get better. I like to smooth things over. And let's face it, laughter truly is the best medicine. And if you can laugh every day, that's a good day, let me tell you. I mean, some days we cry and some days we laugh. And sometimes some of the best days are when you do both.
Yeah.
So, so I always, I just like to take people out of, their situation and help them feel better. If it's not a good situation.
That's cool. So, how did it all begin? Were you acting as a kid? Did you?
That's a funny story. That's a very funny story. When I was in second grade, I used to imitate the principal of our school, and my teacher overheard me doing it, and she said, "Hey, Michael, I need to talk to you after class." And I'm like, "Oh shoot! Oh no! Oh, what have I done?" She goes, "Listen, the way you do the principal is it's uncanny. It's so good." She goes, "I'm going to talk to the school and see if we can do something special." So, in those days, they had morning announcements over the intercom, or the PA announcements.
Yeah.
Oh, they put me on the PA imitating the principal. Oh. And then while I was on there at that time, Walter Cronkite. Can't say his name right because I did Cronkite was the newsreader of the day, and everyone knew him. And so after I did the principal, I launched into this is Walter Concrete here with the news here at Kinchell Elementary School. And so I launched into a little of that. And so then I came back to class, and it was like, wow, was that you on the intercom? Wow. And it was like, once you get that kind of perk, it kind of it encouraged me. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So that was it.
Wow.
That was my first VO gig with a mic was in second grade.
Wow.
Cool. Fun.
And I'm assuming you did you do theater growing up?
I did. I did theater in high school, and actually I was even doing it in junior high. I was doing junior high, high school. And then I went to college at San Diego State. They had a wonderful program there, and I was happy to be a part of that. I actually went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Wow.
But I bombed out there. I was young, and it was like, you anyone could get in the first year as long as you had the money. And then the second year was by invitation only. And I bombed out in the plays. I was 17 years old. I don't really think that I was thinking about being a serious actor. I was more thinking about just having fun.
Yeah.
And so then I went back to Riverside City College and then on to San Diego State and got my degree, my Bachelor of Arts in Theater Arts. I wanted to get it in film, but the film department was very impacted. And by the time I was going to be able to get into classes there, I was already graduating. And I got a job at SeaWorld for the summer as a show announcer. So that was my first real announcing job,
That's cool.
And that was a lot of fun, and certainly you learned a lot on that job because it wasn't just like you were announcing one show. You had to do a lot of different things. You had to run the computers for the Sparklets Water Fantasy so that all the lights would come on the fountains, right? So you're being tech there.
Right.
And then I would also announce the Dolphin show. Then I would run over, and there was a little pavilion that was an indoor place, and you had to do it was the story of Belinda the beluga whale. And not only did you have to announce the show, You also had to run your own lights, and you had to run a cart machine and do your own music. And then sometimes you could see what was happening down in the pool below. You had like a closed circuit camera so you could see what was going on. Sometimes the animals would act up. So then you would have to kind of steer the story. So it really helped with my improvisational skills. Belinda and Max weren't feeling too good about each other today. And so it was a lot of fun. It was a real blast. And also the other thing that was interesting about that job is when you were out there, this is in the early days of wireless microphones. And so when you would speak, before it came over the speakers around you, it was literally a 3-second delay. So I don't know, I'm sure you've worked with that. You know what it's like to work with a little delay. But this was like, if you didn't keep talking, you just had to just keep talking, just know it was going to be okay. Because if you waited to hear yourself, you were a sentence behind.
Right.
So that was an interesting thing to learn.
So,
and then I moved up to LA.
Yeah.
And then on it went. And then I had a friend who was doing Spanish dubbing or English into Spanish. Someone I go to school with. And she said, hey, they're having auditions for dubbing stuff into English. You should go down there with all those funny voices you do. And so I went down there, and that's how I got started. I think I'm going to say it had to be like 1983, 84.
Wow.
And then I started doing dubbing and started doing the writing, and then eventually I got into the directing. And then once we got to Saban was a great place in that it gave people an opportunity to do a lot of things. So we thank Chaim for that. I mean, he really did open up a lot of roads for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And while, some people may not have liked the way that he did business, I thought that he provided us with a lot of chances to develop ourselves and our talents. And I always will appreciate that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the roles you got to do, right?
Yeah.
You were on Power Rangers. You were on you were on other ones too, right?
Well, I got my start through Power Rangers, and then they had this. They tested me out to see how acting worthy I was by doing the show called Super Pig.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember?
I directed that. Yeah. I directed that. Yeah, that's her little thing. That's what she would say. She would say "Bobobo-bo" in Japanese, and Julie Magdalena was Super Pig.
Yep. Yep.
So what were you on? I forgot.
She was the lead female, and then the actual alien Super Pig was me with my semi impersonation of her Villa Chase.
That's hilarious. Give me a little taste. Come on, give me a taste.
I remember
her name was Cassie, and I would always say, "Hey, Cassie, what are you doing today?"
And so yeah.
Oh yeah, Super Big.
Super Big. Yeah. And then that led to everything else, really. I mean, the stuff that when not only yourself and Wendy would direct, but there'd be times when both of you guys had stuff going on, and then I would see people like Richard Epcar or Kirk Thornton who would come in, and there'd be a sprinkling of them, or Steve Kramer, and then at that time I wasn't the jokester that I am now. I was just in there to do my job.
Always funny. You were just serious.
I was just committed. I was get in, get out, give them what they want. If you get done early, directors like that because then they have time to do other stuff, and then word just kind of got around. But yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So
I think not sick, but that was the role. Really. Oh boy, that was it, buddy.
Beetleborgs.
That one after that one, you got a lot of cred. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, that was my Joe Pesci.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was on. Was that Power Rangers?
No,
was that Big Bag.
That was Big Bag Beetleborgs. Yeah.
Yeah. I was Wolfie on there for a little bit, and then Scott took it away from me. I'm like, come on, Scott, what? They wanted me to white bag, and then they said, no, we don't want to do it that way anymore. Okay.
So we've been getting a ton of questions in for you, my friend.
Well, let's have them.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm here.
I know
Here,
one
you
of
guys-
them. Who? Da, 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 da. Oh. Do you? I don't know if you even remember some of these characters, but somebody was mentioning you that they liked you as Squat in Power Rangers.
Squat was the big one.
Squat.
That was the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Squat and Babu were Princess Rita's minions
Mm-hmm.
before people knew the word minions from it being a whole
Yeah.
shall we say franchise.
Right.
So yeah, so Dave Mallow did the voice of Babu, and I did the voice of Squat, and wonderful, wonderful Barbara Goodson did the voice of Princess Rita, and she was just amazing.
Yeah.
She's still an amazing actress and artist, and I've always appreciated her friendship and her immense talent. She is super. And so anyway, so we did that for a while, and it was a lot of fun. I used to love saying I got paid to do Squat. People say, "Do you work for the government?" I said, "No, I get paid to do Squat." He had this one episode with the egg. That was the great episode. He had this egg he was protecting, and it was exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, egg exciting.
Dun-dun-dunch. So, this first question is from Surfing Slowbro. And they are asking if, this is a great question, actually. If you could have dinner with any four of your characters. So, you and four other characters having dinner together.
That's a great one.
Who would they be and why?
I got to think. Well, I wouldn't eat with Squat because he was a pig. He wasn't really literally a pig, but he was just too sloppy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great question. Okay, one of the definite people I would do is Mr. Fujisawa.
Yeah.
From come on. Yeah, we're gonna get the names here. El Hazard. He was a high school teacher who was like a normal guy he was a mountaineer. But whenever he would drink, he would develop superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he would say, kids, when you go to school, don't smoke much. He's one of those kind of guys. So he was like a fun guy. He's a little crusty, but not super crusty. And then I'd want to have a dinner also with Captain Morton. Captain Morton was a character I did in Swiss Family Robinson.
Okay.
And Richard Epcar directed that. It was, let's see, Wendy Lee was in it. Becky Olkowski was in it. Michael McConaughey was in it. David Thomas, another wonderful actor who we don't hear about much, but boy, he had a lot of talent. He was in it. It was just and he was an old, tough character. It was like Mike Reynolds.
Right.
Yeah. So that was, and who else? Who else would I want to eat with my characters? Well, I wouldn't want to eat with Gamabunta because Gamabunta would just eat too much. He's a cute. You guys know Gamabunta here. I just want to show my little shirt. I love it. Someone's kind enough to send me the Gamabunta shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Gamabunta. Yeah, he's a badass toad, but he would not be fun to eat dinner with. That's the thing is I don't play characters that have a lot of, shall we say, je ne sais quoi. I don't play a lot of the characters that are so smooth. Oh, let me think about this. Any others I can think of offhand? No. Tanaka's too loud to eat dinner with. Oh, and I would have dinner with Hosuke, is how you would really say. We said Hosuke, but I found out later that in Japanese you drop the U and the K and it would be Hosuke.
Yeah.
Who is Owl from Big Battle Beatamon.
Okay.
Yes, he was wonderful. And also I'd probably eat dinner with the man in the nose from, of course, Bobobo-bo. A story edited on, and Richard Epcar was hilarious, and Felice Sampler was in there, and Brian was in there, and that was a lot of fun. And Joe Ackman again, but don't tell my Terry, a lot of great people. Terry Stone.
Yeah.
That was a really fun show, and we had Jeff Nimoy writing on it. There was one episode where there was a It was kind of a confection that is popular in Japan, but it's round and it looks kind of like a cinnamon roll. So Jeff wrote it that it was a churro, and so the whole episode was like Don Pachi, who was played by Kirk Thornton. Don Patch is this little son character. He's out there like the starving matchstick girl in the cold. And he's selling churros. It was very funny.
Well, I was the man in the nose, you know. He'd be fun to eat dinner with because he knows what he likes.
Right.
Yeah. Or actually, I shouldn't say that. I should probably want to be 007. You know, the actor from
Cyborg?
Cyborg 009.
Yeah.
And we did that the first time too. I know it's since been done again, but boy, that was a fun cast as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, nothing is done anymore because he's totally out of the history books. But for many of you guys who may not have known, one remarkable thing about Mr. Sorich is you often played in both sitcoms as well as serious drama stuff, Fidel Castro.
That is true. Yeah, that was my cottage industry was Fidel Castro. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it up. So, you know, I did Seinfeld. You don't see me, but you hear me. And that whole episode's a very interesting story. When we come back again, remind me, and we'll do that because it's like a 5-minute story about. It was kind of an actor's nightmare that turned out great. It was very interesting. Yeah. But so that was like a super big deal. And then I did Married with Children, and then I did the Ellen Gonzalez story, and then I did 7 Days, and then I did Sybil, and then I did Noriega, God's Favorite, opposite Bob Hoskins, who was just the nicest guy in the world. And I'm so sorry that he passed away. He passed away too soon.
Yeah.
Bob Hoskins was a true gentleman and super talented, nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. Except for you. You're pretty nice.
Oh, nice of you for saying so.
For all you fans out there, make sure you handle your dental first during this COVID thing. You gotta take care of your teeth, okay? All right, thank you.
I'll get the service announcement, Steve, just to make sure.
Dear. This question is coming from Aaron. Because you did Nimon in the
Nimon, yeah, the guy with the snappy pants.
The fourth season of Digimon. Yeah. If Digimon crossed over with Marvel, which team do you think Legendary Warriors would work well with? Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because they have a little more latitude. They're not as uptight, and a lot of them are animals, which all of us were animals.
Right.
So that seems like that would play the best, I would think. Short answer to a very complicated question, but thank you for the question.
Yes. Oh, here's something to think about for the future, sir. One of the viewers is giving us a suggestion that sometime we should do an autograph session.
I'd love that.
You and I.
I'd love that. As long as that wonderful lady that we know makes up the color sheets. Oh my gosh, she does such a fantastic job. I mean that. She does. I mean, the last sign sheet that I had a person develop, it was so beautiful what they did. They incorporated all of my characters and did such a great job. Yeah.
For those of you guys who don't know, Lauren did a bunch of Digimon characters for Mike to use for future autograph sessions. So.
And also, she did a small one of my Naruto characters, but I don't have enough on Naruto.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Huh. I don't know anything about this, but maybe you do.
Okay.
Somebody was. Where is it?
Thank everyone for tuning in while Steve looks at stuff. But I mean, I appreciate you being fans and enjoying the things that we did. Believe me, we had a ball doing it. It was always fun. You always made so happy to go to work and have such a good time.
Yeah. So somebody is actually giving you a very nice comment. I guess they know you from Dr. Agassi in, or is it? Am I reading this correctly? Wait a minute. Where is it?
On the hero.
Dr. Agassi and Conan.
Yeah, Conan the Detective, right?
Yeah.
That was fun. That was fun. I got to revoice it. It's interesting. There's been a couple of things where I've revoiced stuff that other people have done, and then the fans get into the whole thing of, okay, who did it best, or who did they like the best? I got into that with that one.
Yeah.
And then another one that I really got into it was Grandpa Hino on Sailor Moon.
Mm.
I did Grandpa Hino, and that's a really interesting character, and that series is really interesting. And the reason is because it's so old. It's such an old show that it has a lot of sensibilities that are no longer acceptable. It's just like, that was when it was really a man's world. I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
And it really reflects that. So then when you try to rewrite that stuff and make it, get around it, it's not so easy. And my character was basically the, oh, hi, girls. How are you? Because nowadays does not fly anymore. And rightfully so. Ladies, it is a ladies' world as well as a man's world. And it's also a transgender world and a lesbian world and a homosexual world. It's everybody, man.
Yes.
God, we all have to live on this little planet together. Let's try to be accepting of everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is a big deal.
Should be. Shona Rose has a question for you. If you have any funny stories related to voicing your characters on Bleach.
Oh, on Bleach. Yeah, that is a fun. Actually, a lot of people may not know this, but that is another series that I was the original director on.
I remember.
I was for the first 21 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we established a lot of things. And, of course, it was great working with Johnny and Michelle and everyone else who was voicing on it. And actually, there's some things where the fans got it wrong in terms of who they think was voicing certain characters. Like some people think that I voiced Tessai, and there's no way I could voice Tessai. He's the super deep voice guy,
Mm-hmm.
And I think for a while there was conjecture that Jameson Price was doing it, and then they thought someone else started doing it. And it turned out it was the other way around. Someone else was originally doing the voice, and Jameson Price took over the role.
Right.
But anyway.
Right.
But I gave myself the role of Don Kanonji, and that was a lot of fun doing that character. And I just love his outfits, and I love the squeak that I developed for him. I have a natural squeak in my voice, and it really works for him when he says phrases like, "The spirits are always with you." Yeah, he was a really fun character. I'm sorry I didn't keep him in up through episodes 300, it's because I get that kind of that part of their universe went away after I think about 100 episodes.
Yeah.
But I think it went on to like 350 episodes. Wow. I should have stayed the director.
Let me see here. Okay, that's good. Yes, okay, awesome.
Says Mr. Prince. Another. Up to 8, everyone, if you're counting.
Would you? I mean, obviously, it's done in New Zealand now, but if you had the opportunity to go back and do Power Rangers, would you?
Absolutely. Sure. I remember the first time that I saw the footage for Power Rangers. We were in a building in Burbank. We were in a tall building, which it's after Saban had moved from their small. The first place where I worked for Saban was actually in a very, very small building. It was a very, very small company. It was on Ventura Boulevard at where Colfax dead ends into it.
Yes.
And there was screen music, and then there was a little restaurant, and then the other side of the restaurant was kind of like offices. Probably, I wouldn't say more than about office space for maybe 10 offices, not big offices, and a parking lot behind it. And that's where we originally started voicing for Saban. And we did actually Ollie's Oxtails with Jeff Winkless as Ollie, and I was his sidekick, Jack Turtleson. And that was so much fun. And at the time, the director was Tom Weiner. And then eventually Scott Page took over directing it. And by the way, thank you very much, Scott, for all the opportunities and all the friendship through the years.
Yeah.
Scott's a great guy. And he now has his own wine. So go out and buy Scott Pagter's wine.
Oh,
It's
really?
He does. He actually makes his own wine. It's quite tremendous. It's up there in Santa Clarita. So if you get a chance to stop in his tasting room, you should. Go have a taste. And he can regale you with some really serious Power Ranger stories because he was there from day one right till the end. So
was
was
Saban responsible for Eagle Riders?
Eagle Riders, yes, I directed Eagle Riders, the original Gatchaman.
Okay.
And that one, I'm trying to think of who was on it. We had so many people on it. Paulie Schreier was on it. That was the first thing that Paulie did for Saban, I believe.
Yeah.
That one was definitely Tiffany Crinstun. Mona Marshall was in it as the
little boy. Yes, I'm Mona.
And who else was in on that? Oh, there's that's a great story. That's when I got to direct Bryan Cranston.
Oh, is that right?
Bryan Cranston, as some people know, he did some Power Rangers, but he also did Gatchaman, also known as Eagle Riders. We know it as Eagle Riders.
Okay.
And he came in, and from day one, what a sweet guy. Just so much fun. Always had great stories to tell. Whenever we had a minute to fill, he could always tell a great story. And at that time, he'd already been an actor for a long time, but he was just starting to get things going as an adult actor. So he played the character of Joe. And Joe was this half cyborg, half human, very conflicted, very dark character. And so, he'd do these lines, and then we'd tell jokes. Just to lighten it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, I remember he came in, he said, "Oh, I just got a gig. I got an acting gig." "Oh, great. What was it on?" And he goes, "Oh, it was on this show called That Thing You Do." It's a movie with Tom Hanks. And I met Tom Hanks, and I met Steven Spielberg, and they said they're going to remember me. Well, as you know, in our business, if somebody says that, that's the kiss of death, right? Who? I don't remember him. I never remember getting crickets, right? But then he came in about 3 months later. He goes, "Oh my gosh, this is really great. I got great news." I go, "What happened?" He goes, "They remembered me. They're doing this miniseries called From Earth to Moon for HBO." And he played Alan Shepard on that one-day shoot on That Thing You Do. And they remembered him for this character. And now it was like, it was 2 months, and it was like a multi-episode series. And then after that, they remembered him again when they did Private Ryan.
Oh, wow.
And he played the one-armed major in Private Ryan who sends the young officer out to meet the mother of Private Ryan, who's missing at the time. So, and then he got Malcolm in the Middle, and then he created Breaking Bad. Well, he didn't create it. Gilligan created it, but he was a huge part of that and produced it.
Right.
And it was just great to be able to say I knew him when.
Right. Exactly. Wow, that is very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very, very cool.
And the dentist on Seinfeld in between there, by the way. It's the dentist on Seinfeld. That was a big role for
him. Let's see.
Doesn't everyone ask what we're having for dinner, Steve? Come on, tell them. You and I, Steve and I, we're pretending like we're doing this in separate locations, but actually, I'm in Steve's bathroom. You see, he's got it painted green here. I'm right next door to him. I'm surprised you can't hear the echo over his mic. We're going to have prime rib when we get done, guys. We're not vegetarians. We're going to have a big piece of dead cow together, scalloped potatoes. What else we haven't seen?
Oh, I think lobster,
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Twin tails,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Great story. I he was directing once, and so he's sitting there directing. He finds out that the clients are going to pay for lunch, and so he goes, Oh, well, oh, that's wonderful. Well, why don't we have lunch come in from the Palm? And the Palm is like a Palm is like $100 a plate place.
Yeah.
You don't mind if I invite my wife for lunch, do you? He goes, let's have the twin lobster tails. I mean, these clients are like, they didn't know to say no.
Oh my gosh.
And that person was not me, just so you know. Although I do like lobster. And I love a prime rib with my buddy Steve, but only
There you
with
go.
Steve. The Rancho Cucamonga beef, ladies and gentlemen. Haven't had it. It's amazing. It's a great
I do have a question slash comment for you from one of our viewers here, Mel, who says hi to you and nice to meet you over the video anyway. So
No touching.
she noticed on your resume
Okay.
at Google that you voiced the tar monster and the cotton candy glob in Scooby-Doo 2.
That's true. And that's when I got to meet Peter Boyle, which was a wonderful treat.
Yeah.
And that's also, here's another great, oh no, that's another one. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. I did the tar monster and I was the cotton candy glob. So that was really cool. So I got to meet Peter Boyle on that. And then I also did Curious George the movie, in which I played the scene at Cabby. And here's a little tip for everyone. If you're going to work, show up early. Even if it's just 5 minutes early, show up early. Because it's only going to make things easier for you. First of all, you don't have the stress of arriving at the last minute, not knowing what's going on, not knowing where the room is, not having your water, not being ready. Arrive a little early. Give yourself a little there. So I always arrive 15 minutes early, and that way I can go to the bathroom. I can find out where it is. If there's nobody there, I can sit there and read the script. And sometimes when you get there early, you learn things.
Mm-hmm.
You learn like, oh, okay, so she's having a tough day. Or, oh, that's the boss's daughter. Or, oh, the script's been changed 3 times. Or, oh, they're running late. It's just, and it puts you at ease rather than what's going on? Who are these people?
Right.
And so anyway, the story about that is that I went to LA Studios to do my session. And I got there about 15 minutes early. And they said, well, you don't have to wait down here. They're shooting upstairs. Do you want to go upstairs? And I'm like, well, I wouldn't be disturbed. No, go ahead. So I go up there and I walk into the control room. And who's on the mic but Dick Van Dyke?
Oh, no.
And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Right? I mean, this guy is a legend to me. Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, all the Dick Van Dyke Show. I mean, this guy is just an idol to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he gets done, and they said, okay, you can go ahead and go in. I'm like, okay. So I walk in, oh, Mr. Van Dyke, no. I just couldn't help talking to him and stuff. And he was a walker, and I was a walker, and I noticed he had on walking shoes. So we started talking about the shoes, and he was so nice. He spent like 10 minutes there talking with me. I never got the feeling of, him looking at his watch, or it was just such a sweetheart, natural guy, super generous with his time. It's really nice when you can afford to be generous with your time. And he was. And they're like, oh, okay, Mr. Van Dyke, actually, you're going to need to leave because we need to keep Mike on schedule. Oh, okay. It's one of those kind of things. So that was really cool.
Very cool.
So be early.
Yeah.
That's a little tip.
The question that went along with that was do you remember a funny part that you had in doing those 2 monsters? Or were you allowed to improvise at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the cavity line was improvised. What happens is, it's like the Cotton Candy Club tries to be mean with Scooby and with Shaggy, and so it's okay. Just improvise some stuff, and I came with, I'm gonna give you cavity,
Yeah.
which they actually used. They used it in the film, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had 2 sessions on that. It was super cool.
Yeah.
And then another one where they used something I did was on Angry Birds. I was doing the group for Angry Birds, and it shows you how sometimes you just let something fly, and sometimes it works. There was a scene where the pigs have stolen the birds' eggs, and they're pulling out on a ship. And so they said, "Okay, we need some ad libs here. Well, what would be good here?" And I went, "Oinkers away."
Ah.
And anchors away, and they're like, "Oh, hey, oh, oinkers away! Oh, yeah, oh, that's great. Let's use it." So you can hear it clear as day. Oinkers away! and that sound supervisor remembered my originality, and he had me back, even though it's uncredited. And this really bothers me. I like getting the checks, but I'd like to be credited on Cars 3.
Mm.
Yeah, I worked on Cars 3. They had one day where they had a lot of people doing group, and the next day they had like just about 8 of us back to do, like, to punch it up, so to speak.
Right.
And I also worked on a movie that's coming out in August. You may have heard of it. The guy who stars in it is Porous. Porous is he. And it takes place in Vegas, kids. You're gonna love it. What goes to Vegas? Wow! Oh, it's great. It's very funny. You guys will love it. I hope you get a chance to see that. I think it's out in August.
Cool. I have a 2-part question for you.
Okay.
Yes
and no. How about that?
For Moncoli Nights.
Yes, Moncoli Nights.
Was Ron Myrick involved in that?
Ron Myrick.
Do you remember Ron?
I do remember Ron. Ron was a big producer at Saban, and he went on to be a big producer. He produced Ed, Ed, and Eddie at the same time at Cartoon Network. He was working like 2 places at once.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it was Moncoli Nights. No.
Okay.
It was, which one was it? Which one was it that he was on? It was after that. Which one was it? Oh, I got to think about this. That's a good question. I don't think it was Moncoli Nights. Yeah. That's a good question.
Well,
oh, and by the way, I want to also say my sympathies to Michael Clark's family. Michael Clark was one of our engineers, and he worked on a lot of things for Saban and some things for Jamie Simone over at Studiopolis. And he passed away, I think, about a year ago.
Yeah.
And I really miss him. He was a super guy, Michael Clark.
Yeah, he was. Well, the second part of the question may or may not still be applicable, but there is a viewer on here who I guess is really into Moncoli Nights.
Mm-hmm. That's a great show.
They learned that what? Oh my gosh, these comments. Okay, Discotech Media recently acquired Moncoli Nights.
Well, he knows better than I do.
But they can't locate the master tapes for the dub, and was wondering if you know anything about who might have the master tapes.
Not at all. It was Saban products. It was probably, I would take it part of the Saban catalog. But I have an interesting story about Moncoli Nights.
Oh, do you?
When we were doing Moncoli Nights, and we were doing the pilot, and in the pilot, the professor was not played by the person who voiced it in the series.
Oh, really?
So in the series, it was voiced by Jamison Price, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So in the pilot, it was voiced by Bob Pappenbrook.
Is that right?
And so Bob Pappenbrook, and we were actually shooting it down at a place called Oracle Post on the west side over there on Nebraska.
Yep.
You remember that, with Jimmy Lifton and his wife,
Yep.
Paulette Lifton.
Mm-hmm.
Nice people. And a great engineer. What was his name? Was it Chet? It was something like that. God, he was great. Great engineer. Anyway, so we had gone ahead and we shot the whole thing, and all of a sudden they decided they didn't like the way the last line of the pilot had been read. It's a full episode pilot. That's how they used to do it. They would shoot an actual pilot. And so they said, "Get Bob down here. It's Friday. It's 5 p.m. We're all done. We need to be out of the studio by 5:30. Get Bob down here." So Bob rushes over there. And Bob Pappenbrook was one of the most talented guys you'd ever want to meet. And he worked. He worked all the time. He'd work like 3-4 gigs a day sometimes. And, of course, I know you all know Bryce Pappenbrook, who is his son, who's gone on to be a wonderful artist, great voice voiceover artist in his own right. And I can remember him voicing when he was very little, and he's a great friend as well. Anyway, so the line was, "Make way for the Moncoli Knights," and that was the line. He like a big, expressive. So Bob comes in and goes, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" And I'm going, "Bob, what's with your voice?" He goes, "Oh, I'm totally thrashed. I've done 5 sessions the last 2 days. I got nothing left." I go, "Well, Bob, you gotta do this line. You gotta say, okay, let's try it. Here we go. Doot, doot, doot. Make way for the Moncoli Knight." "Oh no, Bob." "Make way for the Moncoli Knights." "Okay, I'll try again. Make way for the Moncoli." So, don't anyone, I went ahead and dubbed it for him just to get us out of the studio. Yeah, I go, "Oh, that's good. We'll be able to work with what you got." Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, we're sure. We're good. And then he didn't get the role. When he ended up going to a series, they gave it to Jameson Price.
Oh, wow.
Who's also my Jelly Jiggler in Bobobo-bo.
Okay.
That was a fun one.
I don't know if you remember this. One of my nightmares from Mongolian Nights, which you gave me, thank you, was, and it was like an inside joke between you and I. But there was one, I don't even remember what the word was, but there was a word. It was this very simple word to say.
Right. We all have those.
Very simple word. But this was just one of those recording sessions where I, for the life of me, could not say the word.
Right.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't even remember either.
But it was. I think we had to do it like 13 times just to try and get the word right. And then when I finally got it right, then you as the writer for Moncoli Nights decided to put that word in the next 2 episodes. Just so you can torture me.
The puppet master. I'm so sorry. I hope you'll forgive me. But it made you tough, didn't it?
Oh yeah, baby. Totally.
I had a situation recently where I was directing a thing called Benjamin the Elephant. Is a live action with digital footage from Germany. And there was one character in there, and they did the pilot, and it was one of those things where this happens sometimes, guys. We don't always get the people we want. Sometimes we work with people who are thrust upon us. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. So this guy was thrust upon me, and then it came time to do the show, and I said, I really don't want that guy to play that part. He's really not right, and his articulation is just terrible. You know, he's a mushmouth. I would rather not have him play that part. And they decided they're going to put this guy in this role. And so we get about halfway through the session, and he's supposed to be doing like a kind of a proper, yes, I'm slightly British in a mid-Atlantic accent, yes, of course. And we get down, and all of a sudden, in the middle of a take, I don't know if he had a stroke or what, but he became Australian. His accent turned Australian. And I could not for the life of me get him to come out of it. I go, you hear what you're doing? He goes, no, I don't hear what you're talking about. I said, you sound like an Australian. I don't hear what you're talking about. And I was like, no, you got to. I go, play it for him. And you just, what reminded me of that was what you just about the 13 takes. We did 28 takes trying to get this guy to come out of that accent. And in the end, I was literally, I've never been beaten down by an actor that way. It was hilarious. What goes around comes around, Steve.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Where's
everybody today? Where's everyone tuning in from?
We just had Ben, who's a longtime viewer. He's just tuning in now from the UK.
How are things? It's bright and early in the morning. 8 hours ahead. It's late at night.
8 hours ahead. You think that's a lot of time? Ashley, who is a longtime viewer as well, he's from Australia. He's watching right now.
I don't think I did, but
yeah.
I'm not really qualified to do that accent.
We have a question from
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
I'm getting there. Hopefully. Um.
How are you
Ah!
getting away?
Oh my goodness. Question from the Question Raven. When you voiced Chief Toad, does that
Mhm.
character ring a bell? I don't know.
It might. We'll see.
Okay. Did you have to record with any percussion? Oh, geez. With any percussion instruments or a band to match your lines with the sounds of him stomping around the forest?
No, what would happen typically in that situation? I'm not sure I remember the character, but in that situation, there's always what they call the M&E track, which is the original music and the original effects track. Sometimes it's complete, sometimes it is incomplete. But they would play that for you probably in the headphones if you're trying to match something musically, or that's what would typically happen. That'd be standard operating procedure
Yeah.
when you're doing singing a song that's from a foreign language or trying to match something that's syncopated like that. Sure.
Yeah.
That's how we would do it.
Okay.
And sometimes, as you know, the effects are incomplete. And that's when you get into the throat ripper, Steve, right?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, the monster's here. Oh, the monster's not here. So, oh, we need it all to match. So I guess you'll have to do all the screaming for the monster. All of it. No. Right?
Yes.
We've all been there.
Ashley did have a question for you.
Okay, Ash.
What character, with everything that you have voiced over all these years, what character do you feel is the most like you?
I would say, although I really don't get drunk and become a Superman, I felt like, of course, yeah, Mr. Kurosawa. Was that his name, Kurosawa? I think that was his name.
From
El Hazard. Because, I always play these guys that are kind of a little, they're kind of a little, hey, how you doing?
all right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Masaki. Masaki? Mr. Oh, boy. That's great. Can't remember the name of the character. You just talked about a half hour ago. That's good. I would say it would be him. Or, there's aspects of squat that are in me, certainly. I'm not, half blueberry and I don't have the brain of an apricot pit, but there's a lot of squat in me, I would say. And, yeah, I would say that.
All right.
I would.
Cool. Aaron is from San Bruno. Okay.
Is that San Bruno, California, up north? Yeah, off the BART line. I know exactly.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh,
It's got good eats up there, Aaron.
Ben has a question for you.
Okay.
If you were going to run... Oh, interesting. Okay. If you were going to run your own shop,
Yeah.
what would you like to be selling and where would you set up?
Wow. My own shop
Yeah.
to be selling. What would I like to be selling? Oh, I'm just so Greek.
Yeah.
I know not to do this. I would not do it, but I would have a restaurant. Yeah, I would. And I would probably sell chili. I'd probably just specialize in chili and be done with it.
Really?
Really enjoy making chili.
Is there a Greek chili?
No, there's not a Greek chili.
Okay.
No, there's not. There's not.
You
Greek
should
chili.
make it. You should come up with
Well-
you should come up with a recipe
You
for
can
it.
use, yeah, but the gyro meat with the tomato sauce, not such a good idea. And even I've thought about doing lamb chili, and lamb doesn't work. Chili is its own thing.
It is.
Chili is from Texas.
Yeah.
And chili is beef for me. I mean, people always try to sell you on that turkey chili, but come on, folks, really? Vegetarian chili, that can be very good, actually. Vegetarian chili, you get tofu, you throw enough chili powder on it, kind of tastes good.
Yeah.
But, the real bowl of red, boy, that is a gift. And especially when I mix my herbs so that, I layer what they call it the dump, actually, in chili. which is you dump in spices and then you cook a little more and you dump in another group of spices, another, and you build the dish.
Mm-hmm.
And I call bear claw chili, which is you're eating it, and oh, this is pleasant. And then about 10 bites in, you feel a bear claw go, oh shit, this is harder than I thought. Oh no, yeah. I like the slow burn chili, the creeper chili. Let it sneak up on you. That's my answer. Yeah, my shop would be a chili shop, I guess. Or maybe another thing I'd probably do a cooking shop. Like all the cooking tools and stuff. That would be fun for me because I love all that stuff, and I certainly have tons of it. The Spiredini, the knives, the egg separators, the pans. Oh my gosh, you go on forever with that stuff.
All right, I've got a Stevie question for you.
Okay.
You're on an island.
Okay.
And you can only have 3 things on there.
Okay.
For the rest of your life.
Okay, but do I have food and water to start with, or do I not?
That could be part of your 3 things.
Oh, geez. That really limits it, doesn't it? Okay. So, I would need to have some kind of music.
What's your go-to?
Oh, my go-to is probably blues or jazz.
Okay.
Jazz or blues, either one.
Any particular artist?
Oh, tons.
Yeah.
I love music. I love my buddy Guy. Buddy Guy's a great blues player, and he's still around. He's in his 80s, and I was lucky enough to see him just before this whole COVID thing hit. I saw him like March 10th.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool. Yeah, and he's got a lot of energy for a guy that's over 80 years old. Really good stuff. And interesting guy, interesting background on him. I have to have some music, and then obviously I gotta have food. I gotta have some kind of food source. So that's 2. And obviously, if you get food, then I would take it that water's included in that, Steve. So don't try to sell me on that. And what else would I really want? I got music. I'm well fed. Are there bathroom facilities or not?
Heck no. You gotta
I want a kick-ass bathroom. I want the friggin'. I want the steam bath. I want the big tub. I want the jacuzzi.
All right.
Because I got great music. So what do I want to do? Hang out in the jacuzzi. Yeah.
Nice.
How about you? Have you answered that before yourself?
No, I never have.
Well, okay. Hey, Steve, here's a Sorich question. You're on a desert island. You can only have 3 things. And one of them is not an autographed picture of yourself.
Right.
Because I know you are.
Right. Let's see. 3 things. And I could only have 3 things.
No drink. Nothing's included.
Okay. Well, I guess if I'm going with like a food item, I'd probably pick avocados.
Just avocados?
If I could only have like one type of food, yeah.
Okay, so you got a big avocado tree.
Yeah, big avocado tree that keeps on giving. Don't ever stop.
Oh, I love avocados. I could go with that.
Let's see. Huh.
Ha ha! He's been put on the spot, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you. Watch him squirm. This is great.
Okay, so I'm gonna twist it a little bit. My phone, which still has internet capabilities.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah.
Watch stuff still. Gee whiz.
Well, no, because then you could like deal with the music. You could watch shows.
You get a lot of things there, buddy.
Exactly.
You know what I forgot? I tell you what I forgot was a companion. You got to have a companion, right?
Well,
yeah, there with you. You can have all the things in the world. You don't have somebody to talk to. Yikes,
Linda.
But you use your phone for that. See, so that's smart.
But I mean, Linda, right?
Yeah.
Of course. Um,
Gotta have that.
and I was actually thinking along the same lines. So I'd probably have to go with Lauren.
There you go.
There you go.
That's a good thing. Love is important. We all need somebody to lean on.
Ah, cool. Well, I may not have gotten to all of you guys, but I am seeing what time it is, my friend. It's almost
man.
6:10.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming in. And you know what, Steve? Let's have some more fun. If you want to do this again in 2 or 3 months when these comes these great questions, I would love to.
Absolutely. And guys, if you ever want to get in touch with Mike after today, there's 2 ways you can contact him. He does have an Instagram. He doesn't go on there very much, but M_Sorich.
I'd love if you guys follow me, and I'd love to do more content. If I got more response, I would do more content. I really would.
Yeah.
So please go there and follow, and we'll get some stuff going.
Exactly. So for those of you guys who don't know how to spell his last name, it's Sorich. No 2 R's, just 1 R.
No.
But
just like coffee, it's so rich.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like ice cream if you're not lactose intolerant.
And also, if you want to communicate with him, maybe get an autograph from him, he's happy to work with you privately. Just contact him on Facebook Messenger. Just look for his name on there, and he'll accept you, and then you guys can talk, and you can work it out yourselves.
We will schmooze.
Exactly. Any last words, my friend, that you would like to tell everybody before we head out?
Everybody, I know we're going through some real tough times right now, and we just have to just work on ourselves and work on loving the planet and loving each other. That's it.
Exactly.
That's really it, and that's how we're going to get through everything.
Yeah.
And I appreciate so much your wonderfulness and considering me your friend or
of course
someone that you appreciate. And thank you, Steve.
Yeah,
you're the best.
Oh, thank you, Mike. All right, guys, so that is
oh no, maybe not. Okay, that's too far. I know.
So until Friday when we come back with the game stream, please guys, be good humans. All right, keep your
I want to spoon, not knife, but spoon to my honey I'll croon. Love tune, honeymoon. All right, Steve. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
You got it, brother. Talk to you later.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.